Hello. Trevor. Hello. Hey mate, how you doing? Right, we are.
We're off.
We're off. We've started again, and oh, how we love it. Right, Trev, take it away, my man.
Okay, Gazza's got the inside into turn one. He had pole. He's hanging. Vermeulen out round the outside, but Vermeulen's hanging on as they come up to Urchenbotch, I think it is. He spun him. It's all over the place. This is catastrophe.
Jeez.
Everyone's.
Who's raising that green flag? He needs to change that colour.
Well, he's a little bit further up, but they're trying to unravel the mess. I think that was down to Jasmine cutting across the front of Gazza there. I think that was pulling out the pinball, and and that released it, and then they've knocked everybody else out. So this has completely shaken up the race. It's still showing Gazza as a leader, but I don't believe that for 1 second. As they blast out around the back of the circuit, Gazza's pulling over to the law. And Vermeulen's round again. He's round again. This could throw the championship wide open because he's way out in front in the championship. And where's McCluskey tonight? If I can remember what his race name is, because I've lost my other bit of paper and it's all disaster here. McCluskey is Boy Raxa, so where's he? Right, so hang on, we've shaken out now.
Well, I think he got caught up as well. I did see him limping off. I'm watching the current lead, which is Michael JC53, who's managed to leapfrog all the way up to first position in this Ferrari at the moment. Absolutely flying round.
So who's going to be the real winner in the middle of all this? Nobody jumps out at the moment at me as being the real winner in the middle of this. Sean Cole's going to do quite well. He's running second at the moment. But I've also got rumours. Isn't there going to be a bit of rain possibly a bit later on? Because that could blow things wide open again.
Definitely could be. Definitely could be. Bear me a second.
Boy Rax is into the pits.
I think there's going to be several going into the pits after that bust up. Boy Raxa, when I did see him, had a fair old lump of damage on his front bumper, but your bonnet was actually flapping up and down, so he took a good hit unfortunately from that.
It's such a pity we can't get a replay on those situations, isn't it? But it is so tight. It's a bit of an old school track, this one, isn't it? And it's not that wide. I don't know whether the updates they've done for the return of Formula 1 have made it a bit wider. But those little tight corners, especially when you're trying to hold position at the beginning, it was all not quite inevitable, but they really need to sort of hold their breath a little bit and remember it's an hour race.
Yeah, one of those send-its in the first corner, never going to work out for most people, unfortunately.
Well, I can remember back, and this is probably before you were born, that Mario Andretti and James Hunt did a similar thing, and it ended in a similar situation where wheels met and they jumped over each other and cars retired. So it's not a new thing, but interesting to see at the moment it's watching Vermeulen, Jazzman and Gazza battling away here for 10th place. That 30 minutes ago, would you have believed that was going to be the situation? And really, what difference can they make? Because they're quite a way back at the moment, and we've got Boy Raxa and Takos in the pits. Now, I don't think Takos is a big player in the championship, but certainly Boy Raxa was, and he's still in there at the minute. So I wonder whether he's actually going to come back out and join us.
Hopefully so. Sorry, I will be with you in just a second. I'm just doing my last T's and C's with this.
Okay. Well, do you want to know? I'm just going to have a look at that mid part of the field. It does look quite tight. I don't know if you can flick onto it.
StreamX Gaming currently.
And that's exactly where I've gone. And Steam Gaming, of course, is our sponsor for this series, so give a big shout out to them for all they do for us. But it does look quite tight in this middle pack, and it looks like Steam Gaming is coming under a little bit of pressure from Matthew and Patrick's. And Patrick, I think, had a really good turnout last time, didn't he? I think he was up sort of third or fourth. So they're applying pressure on them as they sort of come about halfway around the lap. I always find that this particular corner, this left-hander here, I always find quite tricky, because it tempts you in as being a bit mid-speed, and you tend to run wider than the exit, which, funny enough, Murph Dew did on that occasion. And where they're coming up to the chicane here, there is an outside chance, if you've got a good exit from that previous corner, that you've got a good run into there up the inside. But it is, apart from that Tarzan at the end of the main straight, there isn't an awful lot of opportunity overtaking opportunities even. I'll put my teeth back in and stop sharing them with the dog after that. So it looks like Patrick, I think Patrick has just put a move on Matthew and he's down the inside into Tarzan there. Has he made it stick? I'm not sure.
Side by side.
Looks like, yeah, although it looks like is it history going to repeat itself? I do find that little left-right there also quite tricky because you're tempted to keep your foot in it as you go round. And what tends to happen on the right hand, you tend to run wide across the grass, and before you know it, you're into the wall at the back of the pits.
Yep. Really tricky little complex of corners that. You need to...
I think maybe we want to hop up to the front because Wiki Nico is right on Michael. Michael will have a shoot to the top there after those incidents, but we know Wiki Nico is very quick. And he's up the inside, exactly where I said. I run wide quite often, so Michael must have been listening to me and not taking any advice.
Fair play to him. Sorry, I'll let you carry on. What were you going to say, Trev?
Oh, just like these corners are a bit old school, so they haven't got those defined sort of turning points and exit points that some of the more modern circuits have. So with those longer curves, sometimes it's possible to pick different lines, but it's also sometimes quite difficult to find the right line as well, isn't it?
Oh yeah, for sure. That is it. Is it literally called botch 10? That's what I've got on my system there for that corner.
It is.
We were just talking about there. It's so weird. It's so, like you say, it's so big. It's a big corner, but it sort of feels double apexy, but it's too big to sort of double apexy.
You've got it. I think it was actually turn 11, which I think it was used to. I've worked out the Dutch word for bend is Bosch, on the basis that everything ends in Bosch, and that used to be Vodafone Bosch, but I assume the check didn't come through, so it's now just turn 10 or turn 11.
looking for filler space there. Oh, that's brilliant. No, go on, sorry. I was going to say, with my homework that I've been doing this week, I've been trying to look for PC leagues to come through, and it seems the McLaren, I did a little bit of research, and it seems with this new 2020 tyre model and physics, this McLaren has changed into a completely different beast than what it used to be. It used to be, if you ever did drive it in the 2019 or 18, it sounded like a beast, but it was always a good second behind pace, whereas now it's actually able to...
Wiki Nico's made a mistake.
He says while pushing too hard. It can now actually...
Sorry, you're saying?
It really can compete with the rest of them. The only big downside that I hear from it is that back end is just such a long and wide car. It's hard to sometimes rotate, so it's sometimes hard to get that back end round. Or if you then try and change the setup for it, it can get very twitchy on it. So I'm gonna try and give it a try. I think for this next league, I don't know. It's going to be the McLaren or the Audi Evo. I don't know. What do you think would be the better shout on that?
To be honest, I'm a bit old school. I've stuck with the Lexus for a while because it's a car I've got under me. I know what it does, and it doesn't overly surprise me. I have dabbled a few times with these mid-engine cars, but being the dinosaur that I am, I'm a bit like old Enzo Ferrari, who once said the horse should pull the cart, i.e. the engine should be at the front. But admittedly, that was about a year before they came out with the rear engine Ferrari and then cleaned up in Formula One. So, what do I know? But yeah, I've never got those mid-engine cars under me as in a way that I'm really happy with. With the Lexus, I can sort of fling it in, and I know, or I can sort of predict what it's going to do. I think that tipping point of when the back end's going to overtake the front, I find with those mid-engine cars, does come out and bite me occasionally. So, I tend to stick with what I know. Yeah.
Well, I've just changed up quickly onto 6th and 7th with Stream Gaming and Patrick here fighting it out. They're really, really close, bumper to bumper. Patrick just backed off a couple of hundreds on the second there, but still pretty much giving him the attack with Matthew. I think that's how he told me to pronounce it. Just sneaking up there behind him in that Bentley.
It's interesting, there's quite a tight pack there, but looking back, and I'm just waiting for the time to... Oh, I think he might have made a mistake. Jazzman had that gap down to about 9 seconds, but suddenly it's rolled back out to 14 seconds, and he's fallen back towards Gaza because he got about a 6-second gap out, because there was a bit of commentator's curse there, because I was about to comment on that gap. I was expecting Miffy to have a go down the inside there, but he was looking but couldn't actually make it stick. Oh, no, is he coming back on the inside? He does seem to have that Bentley all over that. I think it's the Ferrari in front with a rather unusual colour scheme. But I think, Steam-X has gone deep.
He's pushed it too deep, he's lost it. He's lost that inside line, and he will be punished. He's being punished by Patrick now, and it is a drag race down the hill and through the S's. Up to now, this is my...
I think there's a bit of bumper rubbing going on there.
A little bit there. I have to admit, this is my favourite corner on the track here, Muddy. It's that corner there, going down round that hill, and you have to try and stick to that edge, but push as hard as you can. Lovely little roller coaster corner.
Yeah, what's the name of that corner? I can't remember.
I'm going to pronounce it now, so don't judge me too much. I think it's Shivik, Sheivlak.
Oh, I can see it, but I couldn't pronounce it either, so I thought I'd let you take over.
Thank you very much.
You fell right into my trap there.
Little trap. Oh, you nasty man. Oh. But yeah.
So what have we got going? Jazzman's gone to the pits, so I reckon he's picked up more damage there. That will mean he can go to the end of the race, but of course, at the moment, it's suggesting the weather's going to stay stable. But there's obviously the danger that it could, turn nasty. Yeah,
this is it. This is it. It can be anything. It's actually still very close race, very close places here. If we want to catch up with Milden here, we've got basically this little mid-pack here. Milden now being under attack from Patrick, and then Steam-X Gaming being under attack from Mivu behind him here. So either one can take the spot. I don't know which one to keep an eye on over the other.
Well, the other interesting thing is, would you believe this at the start of the race? I think Jazzman is almost a lap down.
No. Really?
Because he'd taken the pit. So he's done his pit stop early, so as long as the weather doesn't go against him, he should be able to hang this out to the end. But I imagine he picked up more damage because he had seemed to have a third incident there, because he'd been round twice already. So I think he's decided to go to the pits, get the repairs done, and try and get some laps in. But at the moment, I'm just trying to pick out where the leader is. The leader is going around there, around what was the Audi S. There's now the Hans Ernst, who I haven't looked up. I have looked up everybody else. And yeah, Jazzman is right behind Michael J and Wiki Nico, but he's a lap behind them.
Right.
So I wonder if he's going to try and unlap himself here, which is something, as we know, can make you a bit unpopular.
It can, but it needs to be done. It really does need to be done, and the battle is still furious here with Patrick and Milden versus Patrick, and then with Stream Gaming getting the attack on from... Is there a manoeuvre being made here on that corner? No, let's get back on these two. Is the manoeuvre being made there?
No,
but neither one.
But Ben went all defensive and Patrick couldn't do anything about it into Tarzan.
That Bentley wanted to really take on that McLaren, but I think the McLaren just may have the sort of at least pull-away legs on the straights compared to that Bentley, but the Bentley may just have that bit more nimble feel around the corners.
So let's have a quick look. There's a look. I'm just going to jump back and see. Yeah, Jazzman is catching Michael JC. Whether he's going to try and put a move on him, it's a little bit of a grey one, that, isn't it? If he's faster and can do it without causing any problems, but obviously Michael's issue is going to be he's hanging on to the back of Wiki Nico, and he would want go.
We've got a manoeuvre. Patrick has taken Ben there. Ben ran too wide on that turn on the corner 10 and pushed out too wide there, but Patrick was able to capitalise. Looking at Ben's car on the right hand side of it, it looks like it, I don't know if it picked up a good hit from that first little bumper, first little fracas at the beginning of the first turn on the first lap, but maybe he's just suffering slightly then with handling, because now Patrick's got round him, he's just off into the distance in that Ferrari.
Oh, he is very much. Look at the daylight he's put between him and Ben down the straight already.
That's the two corners.
And I've just going to put my pit lane reporter hat on. Gaz has just been in the pits and come out again. And interestingly, it looks like has come out in front of Jazzman, which I'm not 100% sure, because sometimes we know it takes a...
Sorry, Matthew might have just taken a... I don't know if he did actually hit the wall hard, but he definitely locked up and started going sideways on the track there while watching Stream X Gaming. So that's given him a relief of pressure. I don't know if he's actually damaged his Bentley there at all, or if it was just maybe a bump or not, but I can't...
Just a love tap.
Yeah, well, yeah, I can definitely see some scrape, which has happened on the front there, but nothing's dangling or hanging, so hopefully it's not going to affect him too badly, but that's going to definitely damage his attack on Stream X Gaming going that way. Sorry, back to your good self, Trev.
Yeah, well, I was just look down in 9th, 10th and 11th. Look at the three drivers we've got down there, who are the guys that have been battling it out at the front. And Jazzman has been first, second and second in the races we've had so far, and was leading the championship. And the only one really keeping him honours was Ben McCluskey, which is Boy Raxa. And he's actually 2 places behind him. So I imagine Jazzman can't believe his luck that despite the fact he's been shuffled down the pack, he's actually still ahead of his main title rival. And Gaz is the other one, and he's down in 10th. So what could have been a day where any one of these 3 drivers could have made a real big difference to the championship, unless something dramatic happens, it doesn't look like it's going to be the case. It looks, in fact, like it's going to close that championship up.
Oh, definitely, for sure. They're definitely going to give a really good shot to Nico Ramon. If he's with the top spot that he's got at the moment, going to be taking top points for that, and definitely going to put some good wedge and attack into that championship. Currently on, what was he? Currently on 42
points.
Yeah.
So it's going to put him on 67. So it's not going to get him into the lead of the championship, but it's definitely going to get him into that front pack of 2. Well, and the other one that I was noticing is going to come up with a bit of a jump is Sean Cool, because he's down in 5th at the moment on 36 points. So he's 3rd there. So I think his jumping points will be 21. So that'll put him on 57. So he's not going to be far out now. I know Ben McCluskey, who's Boy Raxa, and Vermeulen, who's Jazzman, will pick up some points. And obviously the results could change between now, or positions could change between now and the end of the race. But it's still certainly going to bring, because we were concerned that those front 2 were running away with the championship a bit. But I think this has done a great thing of shaking it all up and bringing it all a little bit closer with just 2 rounds to go after this race.
That's a fair point. Right. Sorry.
That's all right.
Flick round here, flick round there. See what's going on there. Someone's actually just up there. Oh, it's we've had a thumbs up from Matthew. He's okay. He's just dropped a little drop in the chat on the YouTube there, just saying I'm all right. I didn't take any damage. Just a little.
I'm all right. I'm fine. I'm fine.
Just a little slip. I'm okay. So he's okay there. Oh,
yeah, well, we're allowed that.
I don't know how he could do it at the same time as racing. Fair play to him. I haven't got the coordination to be able to do that type of multiple things at once.
Well, I certainly haven't either. I've enough trouble keeping the damn thing on the track.
Tell me about it.
I'm just looking at where all the cars are at the moment, and all bar 2 are all in that long queue. I know there's some lap cars in amongst that pack as well. But it's amazing how they've all got bunched up round one side of the track, despite the issue that some of them are 1 lap behind.
Yeah.
So it looks like Wicked Nico's now putting some space on Michael. I don't know how that's working with regard to where Jazzman is. And where Jazzman's got past Michael JC, which we didn't spot, and he's now right on Wicked Nico down the main straight. He's obviously trying to get that lap back and try and get some fast times in. So he's unlapped himself from Michael JC, and I imagine he may well have something to say about it once the race is over. But Jazzman is really working Wicked Nico all the way around the circuit really hard. trying to imagine forcing him into a mistake. If I was him, I'd be tempted to let Jazzman go. Let him go and follow him around, let him drag me around the circuit, because he's only going to lose time if he's going to try and defend there, I think.
I guess so, but at the same time, it's one of those. Jazzman in theory is under blue flag, so you know, it is Wiki Nico's right of way, but does you know, does he want to, in theory, and let's be fair, racing is racing, does he want to hold him up anyway? Because even if he did let him get out of his hair for the time being, will that then just give him some more trouble in about later in the race, when he could maybe catch up and potentially cause hazard to his championship points, or at least make sure that he can't claim as many championship points as he can do? I know, so close.
It's great driving by these pairs, and you just wish it was actually for position. I think he's close enough. If he can get a good run through these last two corners, that he can get right under the rear wing of that McLaren and maybe make a move into Tarzan. I'd be tempted to let him go, because I get too easily distracted with somebody's doing that, and I get frustrated. So I think, lap car, leave it out, and here he goes. I think he's going to do it.
He's going to try and do it late braking.
Yeah. Oh no, we're going. This is lap one all over again. No, right now.
He's let it happen. I think Wiki didn't really have a choice there. He had that inside line, and he couldn't. He was, you know, he's a fair driver. He's not going to squeeze him out. He had to let him have that.
There's some blue flags waving merrily, but I think it's fairly pointless in this situation. I don't think Jazzman's going to pull over for anybody. He's obviously trying to now work a gap, and he does seem to be giving himself a little bit of breathing space. Wiki Nico's made a bit of a mess of your favourite corner there, run a bit wide.
Yeah.
So I find these corners around the back, it's very difficult to judge your gears and braking points, because there's no defined sort of curbs and turning points, because the radiuses sometimes are quite long and sometimes a double apex. It makes it such a great circuit.
Is this corner 9 and 10 that we've just seen Wiki Nico go around now? I'm still, when I do it, I'm still trying to find the exact point that I need to do. I've not managed to put anything into muscle memory as of yet to just know where to brake and where to go here. I kind of know where I need to brake, hammering it down to that short corner, and then I know it's a third round here, push it hard, then lay it off a bit to get it round this corner, then push it hard again through that apex and down onto that straight. But you know,
sorry to cut across you there. Dropped down to about, I think it dropped down to about 6. Murph Jew's just got it all sideways through the chicane, and there's a convoy of about 6 cars there. Now I'm just trying to identify whether they're all on the same lap. I think they are. So I think we've got quite a convoy there, and I think it's from 4th down to 8th.
Yeah. Oh, what's happened to NL Racer? Something's happened to him, because he was a lot further up in the pack.
I hadn't spotted that one.
No, we've had a good little shake up here.
Oh, he's been shaken further down the pack as well. And interestingly, it's another lap driver that's making his way back through there, which is F1 Gaza, who's probably noticed that Jazzman is on his way and he's trying to do the same thing.
I can see a good few scuffs on the side of that Ferrari of NL Racer, so I don't know if he has taken some contact there somewhere. If anyone else has been involved.
Oh, we've got a yellow flag. We've got a yellow flag. Who's that? Car 14's off. Jazzman, is it? No, it can't be Jazzman.
I don't know.
No, the yellow flag's gone again.
I can't see car 14. I think we've had a DC, and we've just had another guy go off there. Oh dear, that is Matthew, I think, just gone off into the gravel there at just the same point.
That's Jazzman's disconnected.
Has he really?
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
well, that's blown it wide open, hasn't it?
It's not been his race tonight, unfortunately. Poor chap. Normally does such sturdy. He's normally the one leading the example. No offence to any of the drivers, but he is, as they call him, an alien in this field, where he can just seem to pull out the times which most of us just can't seem to do, even on our best days. And it's a shame to see him having to pull out there, but I can understand he's probably feeling quite frustrated after, you know, a couple of spins and having to pit, and at this point he's just like, what's the point, I guess.
Well, the winner in all of this, apart from obviously the one that finishes first, God, that was a Murray Walk, if ever there was one, could be Ben McCluskey, because he only needs to get 8 points. That's Boy Raxer, because 9 points, and he'll overhaul Jazzman in the championship to take the lead. And he's been Mr. Consistency, 3 second places.
This is true. This is true. Fate has shown very well on him.
And I don't want to throw another roll of the dice. Have a look at the weather at the top. 2 minutes, we've got rain.
Oh dear.
Someone's picked the deck up, shuffled it. Oh, and Patrick's been caught out by the rain already by the look of it.
God, he nearly took half the pack out with him there, flying onto the track. I was very worried for them lot. No,
that was a bit Top Gun, that was.
That was a little bit Top Gun. NL Racing now looking to see if he can capitalise on the inside there. Or outside, is it now going to be? But I don't think he will round this corner. Buddy, I'm looking at the weather, and you're right.
NL Racers, what? Go.
Oh, is he? Did he
go for a taxi?
Did he? Now I can see the weather saying 2 minutes. We might be getting some rain. 6 minutes. Is that rain plus?
Yes.
What could that mean? Anything? Is that just heavier rain or?
Oh, in the background. Who went round there?
That's Steam X. Steam X Gaming.
Oh, we can let him off that because he's our sponsor. So F1 Gazza looks like he's about to put a move on Ben Milden.
I don't know what happened.
But I think that's to unlap himself. But then this is all going to shake out again because the rain's going to start and then they're all going to have to pit. And the other factor we don't know is how did they set up the cars? Did they knew rain was coming? Did they go for dry? Did they go for wet? Have they gone for a compromise setup?
Well, I think most of them had held out on their pits for that pure reason, knowing that there could be rain coming up and know that they would have to swap possibly over to wet tyres for it. And unfortunately, the guys who have dived in for sheer, repair reasons, mainly due to that first lap ding dong.
Oh, I can see rain on the camera.
Oh yeah, it's starting to come.
And we're 32 minutes, so pit stop wise it's ideal, but we don't know if it's going to dry up, and the heavy rain is coming consistently. So, also I'm not sure of our timeline. I've got a funny feeling it might also get dark as well. Yeah. So that could liven things up in another dimension.
So
it's great to have a race like this mid-season to shake the order up when you just think somebody's running away with it, and then all of a sudden you roll the dice in a different way. And you have a race like this, because the only one that's been a consistent front finisher that's up there is Wiki Nico.
This is true, actually. He has actually been the most consistent finisher up front so far. I don't know. What do you think of? What's your personal thoughts of the type of league? Are you the type of person who prefers to have something like this? Prefers to have a race where it can literally differentiate each race to change it up, or do you prefer it to be more of a static weather-based league? How do you prefer your leagues to be?
Oh, I'm very much with the Bernie Eccleston sprinkler system. Turn the water on halfway through the race and see how lively it gets. You need something like this to shake it up, because otherwise, even in these series, you end up a little bit Formula One. It becomes a little bit Skeletrix, doesn't it? The fast guys are out front, they're metronomic, they're putting in lap after lap after lap. Whereas with this, suddenly it shakes up. As one of the guys who, is metronomic, just been in the pits, come out on slicks, and then all of a sudden it's raining. So his race is wrecked because suddenly he's got to do a second pit stop. And the guy midfield down the back, maybe he's got a good wet setup, has gone in, picked up his wet tyres, only pitted once, and suddenly shaken out into the front.
Yeah.
So I'm all for these races where you ought to get shaken up. And I think it'd be even better. The drivers had a fairly good idea what was going to happen. It'd be even better if they didn't. Wouldn't that be amazing?
We're down to 11. Have we lost someone else now?
We have. Will Freeman's been in the pits for a while. Gaz is still there. Boy Rax is
Stream X is going in. I think he's
left due.
Oh, is it?
We've lost Matthew.
Oh no! I guess after that last spin he had in the Bentley there, which definitely did some damage. That's for sure. I would have thought that'd do some severe damage after that impact.
Well, Steam Gaming's gone for the pits. It'll be interesting to see. Patrick's gone for the pits, NL Racer's gone for the pits.
Patrick!
He's gone through the pits. Oh no! They blocked pit lane entrance, and that will have added to their repair time as well. Oh no! That's a David Coulthard Australia level of error, that one.
The both of them, those Ferraris are limping in.
We are halfway through.
NL Racer was the complete innocent. Oh, hang on, I don't know if NL Racer's making his. He seems to have stopped in the pit lane, not in his pit box. I don't know if he's got a problem.
I don't know if he needs to kind of change to wets quickly now, then, and arrange what's going on, or because once you've got in your pit box, you can't then change the settings on what you want for your pit. So I don't know if he's trying to frantically change that now before he moves in or not. Lord knows.
You could well be 100% right there, because he's sat there parked. Oh yeah, he's out. He's found the first in his gearbox and pulled 20 foot forward into his pit box. So yes, you were exactly right there.
Dear.
So let's have a look out front. So the top three haven't pitted, interestingly. The rain is definitely coming down, but it's interesting also in 6 minutes the plus has gone off the. Oh no, I think that's the heavy.
Here it comes. Now if they want to start coming in, they need to, because that rain is definitely going to start settling on this track. I don't think it was enough to really saturate the track, but with this heavy rain coming,
Michael's in the pits. So it'll be interesting how this shakes out now. Who will Freeman's that? Patrick's is still in the pits, so he's obviously got more repairs. And despite the time that NL Racer lost, sat in the pit lane working out his dashboard and picking his tyres, he's actually got out front, well in front of Patrick's. So I'm just sat in the pits at the moment. So Patrick's is still parked there.
Do you reckon he's not bothered with the repairs and just gone back out with a tyre change?
Possibly. It probably looked about 30 seconds, where Patrick's definitely gone for the repairs, and he's back out, he's out onto the track again. So Michael's still in the pits at the moment. So he's just dropped off to Jackson, he's pulling away, so I don't know where is Wiki Nico in all of this.
He is now literally heading down to that tight right-hander, which I can never remember what it's called, that tight right-hander, then into that weird...
Oh, Hans Ernst.
That's the one.
So used to be called the Audi S until the check bounced.
Oh, was it really? I think those top three will definitely all be coming in now to change. It's getting too wet, and it's only going to get wetter.
And the interesting thing there was Michael JC came back out. He'd only dropped 2 positions.
Oh, really?
He's still in 4th. So it shows how far the likes of Gaza, with the problems he's had early on, and I think had the pit stop with the repairs, that he's still in 5th place at the moment. So it's obviously improving his position, and with the race he missed last week, he needs all the points he can get this week to try and close that championship gap up.
Yes, true. Right.
But are we predicting Wiki Nico's coming in this lap?
Well, he's just gone straight past the pits on the start-stop straight now, so he may do it next lap. I don't know if he's trying to push his luck to see what he can do, but I don't know if you want to risk that too much with heavier rain coming in and the tarmac getting wetter and wetter with these slicks on, especially if he's in a mid-rear engine car.
Because that little seesaw, when you tip it over into the slide, sometimes it'll catch you right out, and before you know it, you're pointing the other way, aren't you?
Yeah. Let's have a look.
So he's coming around to complete the lap. Sean's the other one that hasn't pitted. It looks like Will Freeman's parked up for the race.
Boyraxer just took a quick dip into the gravel there, forgetting that he also may need to dip into the pits again, because he's already done his one mandatory earlier when he did the repairs after the bump on the first lap, so he may need to get back in there and stick some wets on, otherwise he's going to find it very hard to control that Mercedes.
And I think F1 Gaz has got the same problem, because he pitted fairly early on. Wiki Nico is going past the pits. He's not gone in.
Being brave.
So Sean is the next one along. Is he going to take for the pits? Let's have a quick look. Sean's coming around the last corner, and he's gone for the pits. It is a nicely little pit lane entrance, this one, isn't it? I know where I've raced it. I've had to practice it a few times, because you're coming out that last corner flat out, and you just got to judge that braking point right. Otherwise, it is very tight through those tyres.
Yeah, it's one of those. Right, there's a couple of pit entries on this game which are just absolutely horrendous. This is one of them. Paul Ricard is also another one. It's literally.
It was like you were reading my mind. It's like trying to get into a car park at a shopping centre, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, here's your pit entrance, and then it's like slam on your brakes because the pit limit is just there, and it's like, how are you not going to pick up a penalty with that? You have to slow down so much on the straight into it. It's ridiculous.
Well, the one I've also, I'm watching Sean Cole in the pits, and I don't think he's going to jump anybody pit lane or pit stop wise, but it'll be interesting to see where Wiki Nico is, because Sean's just starting to roll out of the pits, so he would have dropped back. He was in behind. His battle was with Michael JC, wasn't it? Yeah, and he's come out behind Michael JC. So positions of how with that swap, change of pit stops.
Be
interested to see,
just to get some wets on, it seems.
Yeah. So the interesting one we're going to see here, Ben Milden's hanging it out. He's there in second. So it'll be interesting to see.
We've
got a yellow flag there.
82.
Sean Cole. Oh, was it Sean? Was it Patrick?
Yeah, it's Patrick. He's actually.
He's jumped back to the pits.
I don't know what's happened there. See, I thought.
So Boy Rax is into the pits for his second pit stop to pick up his wets. So he's obviously decided he can't hang out any longer there. SteamX Gaming's just come into the pits as well. So I can't believe Wiki Nico can actually hang out that much longer out there.
Yeah, I can't. What's happened to Patrice? Was it that bad a hit that he's just had to retire and go that way? Oh, Ben has come into the pits as well.
Okay, be interested to see where he's going to shake out, because he hung it out quite a long time there. But I think he was around in a real terms about a 5th or 6th. I think I'm not 100% sure. I think he should shake out there, which I think for Ben's going to be quite a good result, because I think he's been there. He had a DNF from round 2. He was 9th last time out and 6th in the first race, so that's going to be a good result there for Ben.
Yeah, I'm on board with Wiki at the moment, and he needs to come in. He needs to come into the pits, Trevor. He's not able to push that car at all. It's feeling the rain. It's getting twitchy. I can see it wiggling a bit. He needs to get into the pits this lap. His lap times are going to be nosediving.
But the other thing is, there's only 22 minutes to go. Why has he left it so late? If it was a normal lights the flag dry race, he would have been pitting now. Sure, he would have pitted at 30 minutes and made the. Just to say that. If that's not a warning to get in the pits, I don't know what is. Well, anybody that hasn't pitted has got to now. Surely he's got to pit. Surely.
Is he going for it?
He's into the pits.
I thought he wasn't for a split second there.
Right. I'll stick with Wiki. Do you want to jump on board with Michael to see where he is?
Yeah.
I don't think Wiki's got too much in the way of damage, but it'll be interesting to see. I can't stop me start watch.
Well, Michael is going through turn 9 and on to 10 now as he heads down that little straight.
Patrick's still in the pits as well, just while we're sat here.
I don't think Wiki's got any damage to really contend with. It's just going to be the tyre change. Oh, and with that, Michael's pushed too hard there and mucked up on that S bend that you were talking about. And Cool nearly was able to take it there, but oh no, he has taken it. He's leapfrogged him. He mucked up on that corner, so Cool is now up into second.
Last bend, aren't they?
Now on the last bend, he's now onto the straight.
This is going to be tight. He's rolling. He's off the jacks. He's rolling. He's banging off the pit limiter, and he's out. This is going to be really tight into the turn 1.
Oh, side by side.
Wiki lost so much time on those dries. Now he's got to get them up the temperature. It's a higher temperature you need to get those wets up. Sorry, higher pressures you need to get those wets up to compared to the dry tyres. So Sean's obviously got his up already, so he's grabbed the lead there. Fantastic by Sean Cole.
This is the thing now. Wiki's going to want to try and keep up with him. At the same time, that could be literally his downfall if he pushes too hard too early. He may have to just let him.
Michael's back in the pits.
I did see that. I did see that. After he just took a little wobble, he went astray on that corner, which gave Sean the better opportunity to go around him. And then as he came onto the straight, he then dipped into the pits out. I don't know why. I thought he'd already got onto dry. So I wish we could have seen that. Oh no, Wiki Nico, what's happened here? He's got a 30
stop and go.
Oh no!
And Michael's just coming out of the pits.
What was that for? Do you reckon that was he just pushed track limits too much?
Well, track limits is not one you tend to get too many troubles with here, is it? Because it's self-policing in some ways, because those curbs make sure that you don't go too wild and jump too far. So I would imagine maybe he's just forgotten, because you've got to, if you're using the automatic pit limiter, you have to keep it in first, and there is that temptation just to sneak it into second, because your brain, your muscle memory is telling you to change up, and as soon as you do that, you've broken it and you've got that penalty. So I might be wrong, but I think for a stop and go 30, and it's showing him in the pits.
He's literally just jumped in there now to serve it.
So,
oh dear.
Track limits on here, I can't think. I know it's that chicane. You can get a couple if you're a bit too greedy on the curbs of that too many times, but you do get your 3 warnings. So he's obviously, if it has been that, but not only is it a drive-through, it's a stop and go 30.
Oh dear.
So we must do our homework on that one to check which one it is. But yeah, it's just the chicane that Michael's coming through now.
Well, I'm on board with Ben Milden, our man Ben. Evening Ben, as he's now thundering down this straight, and he's going to be pipping Wiki Nico into second position and dropping him into third, which is then leaving SBR team in a 1-2.
Yeah, he's just come out of the pit lane, and he's just been taken by Raxer, I think. So I'm not sure if that's for position. So I've lost so much because there were cars that were a lap out. So we'll just need to wait for. Oh, Wiki Nico got his tyres on that shiny curb there, and it nearly spat him round into the wall.
You cannot touch these curbs now.
No, not with the amount of rain we've got. And by the look of it, I love the way that the track has updated its status to damp. Well, I don't think we needed that. But that was definitely old news, that one.
Yeah, it seems most things in this game don't update itself on time.
Hang on, Wiki Nico has not served that penalty.
He must have served that penalty.
It's still showing on my screen he hasn't served it.
Unless he's got another one coming out from that one there. Surely not. Surely not.
So he's still showing us third at the moment, but he's showing us behind Boy Raxer. Now, Boy Raxer, I think, is a lap adrift because he's had 2 pit stops, one for repair and damage and one for going to wets. But I'm going to need a bigger abacus. There's no 2 ways about it. To work this one out at the end of this.
It's going to buy it.
I'm not even going to bother trying to start now because I think it's going to change again. But it's Wiki Nico going to have to come into the pits again. He's just coming around the last corner. I'm on with him at the moment. And he's going for the pits again.
For Christ's sake, Wiki, keep it in first until you get out of that limiter. Whatever you do. Look, he's so timid now, making sure he's giving us a flash.
But it's worse than that because it's a stop and go, isn't it? It's showing him drop to Michael JC's pulled back up with third now, and the SBR boys, as you say, they're out front, and I think this is going to give them quite a lead as well.
This is going to be a brilliant finish for the SBR boys. 1-2 finish for the SBR guys. We're not biased at all. I'm sorry.
They were so disappointed after the last race at Imola, weren't they? They thought they had some pace there.
They were.
Oh, for a minute I thought Sean was going for the pits for some reason, but he was just pulling out the spray of Steam Gaming's car. So, let's have a look. Is there any... Oh, yeah. Yeah, Steam Gaming's just let Sean by, but I think he's got quite a lead because he's just coming up to the hairpin around the back of the pits. And Ben, he's got a massive lead. Ben's at the chicane, he's not even completing the lap. He's got almost a half a lap lead.
Yep.
Just like a fantastic showing of, not necessarily, don't take this the wrong way, Sean, that he may not be the fastest guy out there in this particular series, but he's driven solidly. He hasn't made mistakes, and he's pitted at the right time, and suddenly he's half a lap in front. That's absolutely incredible.
He's done a sterling job. Oh, and what's going on here? Anything going on? Wilco approached by. He's getting approached by Gaza, so we actually are getting a bit of action now. As Wilco has come back on.
Sean, get off the grass! You've got so much time in hand. You've got 15. You're about probably 45 seconds in front with 15 minutes to go. You can go 3 or 4 seconds a lap slower and still win. Do not mess this up.
It's that rain starting to come into fact, and I don't know how they can say that track is under the name of damp at the moment, because it is getting sodden. I'm starting to see potential of puddles forming from this. Yeah, you can see on that run down there.
I've noticed something else happening, and I've watched it with a couple of cars now, and despite the fact it does look quite wet out there, down the main straight, and I don't know if they're talking. Go.
Sorry, I didn't mean to hit my microphone there. Wiki Nico, last corner coming out onto the straight there of the start straight, flew off, hit the wall. Gazza's then leapfrogged him. That's dropped him back down to 5th. It's been a hard race for Wiki Nico here. Sorry, what were you saying, Trevor?
I've completely. I know what I was saying. I don't know if Ben Milden and Sean Cool are talking to each other, but what I noticed was down the main straight, both of them are moving over towards the pit wall to cool their tyres. So despite the fact it's wet, you can get a problem with these wets. They start to overpressure, and one way to get over it is to get over to the right, the unused parts of the track where there's more standing water to try and cool them down. So I wonder if that's what they're working on.
Possibly. So are they both using that tactic? Are they?
Yes, you watch them when they go down the main straight. No, I think Ben's just finished he's only just starting the lap. And the other thing, you can see by the shine of the headlights on the tarmac, it's starting to get dark as well.
Yeah. Some people hate it, but night racing in the wet is definitely a challenge if you're not really familiar with the track.
Well, the other interesting thing, I'm doing some digging on this track. As you know, I like my information on these circuits, and I found out a little bit, because we're obviously at Zandvoort in Holland, or the Netherlands as I should call it. We're right on the coast here on the North Sea. We're about sort of 15 kilometres to the west of Amsterdam. But this track was actually formed using the communication roads built by the occupying German army.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was never aware of that. I'd heard stories about their street race in Zandvoort, but that was before the Second World War. And after the end of World War II, they left these roads behind, so they joined them up and made a circuit.
Oh, wow.
Here's your interesting fact of the day, and the first race was back in 1948.
That's amazing. I have to admit, I never really knew of this track until I started playing ACC. It wasn't one which was normally on like a video game roster, and I hadn't really seen it on F1 in the years I've been watching it. I don't know if I've just been a fool in that case, but I hadn't seen it.
You're just young.
Yeah,
you're young. That's the problem. See, I can go back to the halcyon days of James Hunt's only win with the the only win for Hesketh Racing with James Hunt was here when he managed to hold off Niki Lauda. Funny enough, in what we're looking at now of changeable conditions. So that was back in 1975. So that was the highlight of the Hesketh team, which was known more for their champagne and Rolls Royces than what they thought was being highly technical on the F1 front. But they've actually designed quite a good little car. Just unfortunate that the Lord ran out of cash, and that was the end of that, really. So, and I've read the book on Hesketh, and it's quite interesting. The way they kept the team running was the Lord had run out of money, but didn't like to admit to it. So what they did was drag out the old F1 cars out of the sheds they'd had from the previous years and started renting them out to sort of wannabe racers to get some cash in.
Oh, right.
and that's how they kept the team afloat as long as they did, because he'd run out of cash a long way before anybody realised. So, but they kept the pretense up. But yeah, they were sort of just, I've got it's a bit like a sort of second-hand car dealer. I've got an old car in the back of the garage. Would you like to have a go with it?
Then get a good few couple of coin in your back pocket for doing that.
You got it. I'm just looking at anything that's developing, and obviously we've got less than 10 minutes to go. What I have noticed was that Wiki Nico now seems to have got in the groove a little bit more as the light's fading and the rain's increasing, and he's starting to wind in Gaza. He's been pulling it in by about half a second a lap. So could be, and this could be, come the end of the season, this could be quite an important manoeuvre, because Wiki Nico is going to be one of the frontline drivers that's actually going to have a fair few points in his back pocket, because he's currently fourth and Gaza's third. So it's quite important for these two, because they're going to end up being quite close. So I think the difference will be is that if Wiki Nico gets in front of him, I think these two will be on even points after this race.
Yeah, they probably will be. So they're only a couple of points in between them at the moment.
Yeah, they're only 2 points between apart, and there'll be 2 points difference if Wiki Nico gets in front. But if it's the other way round, Gaza F1 will pull that gap a little bit wider. But the big winner in there is going to be Sean Cool bagging that 25 points.
Oh,
because that's going to put him on 61, which is only going to be 10 behind Jasmine Bermuda, and Boy Raxa is on 63. But he's going to come in 6th, so that's going to give him 15 points. So I think that is going to catapult him into the lead of the championship. But we'll give Abacus a couple of minutes, because Wiki Nico is now right on Gaza.
Yeah. Such a hard track to... There's no like track lights or anything like that at all. So in points where we're watching it, all you're literally seeing is just glowing brake light, glowing brakes and back headlights. Oh, you can even see the glow from the exhaust. I have to admit, that's quite cool.
They have got the detail good on this, but from what I can see, I think those discs do glow for a bit longer than what I think they should normally. But we won't knock them too many points for that.
For sure. So what do you think, before Wiki tries to make this manoeuvre on Gaza, what do you think I should go for? Should I try and stick with an Audi, or should I go with the McLaren with this season coming up?
If you go with the McLaren, you've got to stick with it and put some time in, because the thing I find when I've played a little bit with other cars is that there's that learning curve time, and you know what you've had, and for you, change between those two probably won't be as that dramatic. But for me, really being a Lexus driver, probably my next obvious thing would be to jump to something like the Bentley or something like that, so I've got that front engine rear drive.
Yeah.
Whereas let's just put no, I don't think Wiki Nico is close enough down there. Whereas you're obviously staying with a similar drivetrain layout, so I think with that, you need to give it a couple of races, because it's always tempting to go back to that familiarity. You've got that, you know what the car's going to do. It doesn't jump out and bite you when you don't expect it. So you've got to work out a little bit to make sure that you're getting all the benefit out of the car, and almost find a series where you need to commit the car to a season. I don't know how many series you're in, but maybe just commit, one or two, or in 1 or 2 series with that car, which is what I'm thinking of doing with my next seasons. Change car in one, but not in the other. So I've got one where I've got my baseline, and the other where I can experiment a little. Oh,
I see. Oh, that's not a bad shout. I have to admit, I didn't think much of the McLaren. Like I say, because of the Wiki pushing a bit wide down.
It's starting to dry up. It's starting. Look at the forecast.
Well, it is starting to.
Rain's easing off, but I think it's only for the race end, so I don't think it's going to make a big difference.
No, I think now, thanks to this new 2020 model that they've got, and if you're based on the 2020 tracks, the McLaren is. I found it very raw. I found it very nippy. It was the one I felt, I can actually get this going quite well. I managed to do a few laps of it round Brands Hatch to do sort of set a hot lap time. And I was pushing 125s, which isn't too bad for me. So, and I could feel if I'd stuck at it more, I could have got something else. But it was, you know, just what I was getting after about maybe 10 laps of the 10 laps of the McLaren. But then last night I went online to do a bit of online racing. Went on a Brands Hatch again, got in the McLaren, and I was like, what is going wrong? It just feels like absolute junk. And then I left the race and then realised that, oh, that was the 2019 track. So it really does make a difference between the 2019 and 20 tracks.
Oh, I didn't realise there was that much difference.
Well,
every day's a school day.
Yeah, well, like I say, they've developed a new tyre model for the 2020 tracks, and in theory 2020 tracks and cars. So when you go on the tracks in the 2020 season, the tyre, how the tyre works and give and heats and stuff like that is a lot different. So I was watching it, a thing about it yesterday, and the cold sort of increase and decrease, the sort of bell loop, I guess, as you'd say, on a graph, from when they had on the 18 and 19 was a lot shorter, where it would, you know, it wouldn't be too bad grip wise when it was cold. It would then build up to optimal tyre pressure to around 27 psi. On the other ones, and then start dipping down again if you push too much onto that. It's now a lot shorter. It's now wiki pushing a bit there at the end of the end, start that straight. On cold tyres, you haven't got much grip at all. But then you really get up to a really decent. When it gets up to optimal, you get up to a really decent level of grip when it gets to optimal pressure, but then drops off again a lot more quicker. So the handling of the cars is just a bit different, and it's really come to show in McLaren more than any of the others. So, well, at least the improvement in feel and performance. So hence why I'm thinking of going for it.
Well, you can but try.
This is it.
But it's that important case of not jumping into it immediately thinking don't like this and jumping back. You've got to make a commitment to it for a period of time to make it work. But I was just back on the race after that little push Wiki Nico had up to the back of Gaza. He's dropped back by nearly 2 seconds. So I don't know if Gaza's wound the pace up or Wiki Nico's frightened himself. I know he's had a couple of loose moments off the track, but this battle, which we hope was going to build its way up for a grandstand finish, does seem to have settled down, and the gap's pulled out to about 2 seconds for the last lap or so. And I think, let's just have a look where Sean Call is, because they are definitely in cruise mode. I think we've got about 2 laps left, because Sean's not long gone over the line. So, depending on how much the wet weather is slowing their lap times down, it's usually about a 1:30 around here, I think, isn't it? Or is it 1:40?
I think it's about 140 in the wet, and in this severe wet, it may be a bit more, maybe down to 142, 45s. But the top 3 are split. I'm just having a little flick through them. Top 3 are completely split all round this track.
Yeah.
Cool.
And they've been, Sean and Ben have been so consistent that they seem to have kept it opposite sides of the track, and they seem to be cruising. I don't see any scruffy, and this is commentator's curse, of course. Doesn't seem to be any scruffy racing. They're just putting the laps in.
Touching wood.
Don't want to give it the commentator's kiss of death.
No, don't want to do it. Don't want to do it.
Oh, SteamX has gone to the pits, and Tacos has gone to the pits.
Oh, he's decided to come out now. No, I did see SteamX going in a little while ago, and they've both come out. They must have both picked up some significant damage or something with maybe an off. I don't think it was together. I think it was a separate thing. So I did see SteamX going in well before I saw Tacos go in. But
quick abacus time, right? That's got to be 0.
44.
So where's Byrak? So he's down in 6, so I think that's going to give him 15 points.
Someone's just gone off again. What's just happened there? Taco's just went off again.
Right, man. Leader
He's
is on
only
the
just
final
coming out
lap.
the
Give it
pits,
all you
isn't he?
can.
And
I
where's
saw-
Gaz? Gaz is in fourth. Of course, Gaza was a DNS last time, so
Yep.
that's definitely helped him out. Wiki Nico,
Oh, what has happened here? No.